welcome to Dreamfoster 2023, a place where we support the dreams, helping people to live their dreams. Our next speaker is was here last time, if I remember, due to demand. He's been asked to come back again and reach us even further. Mr. Andrew Yamayoro. I hope I pronounced that right. Please do correct me. Apologize if I didn't. Is the director and principal solicitor for TAN Law Solicitor Limited. Mr. Andrew is the current president of the Warwickshire Law Society. He is also a council member for the National Law Society, Coventry and Warwickshire constituency. Mr. Andrew is a qualified solicitor, also admitted in Zimbabwe as a legal practitioner. Mr. Andrew is a lawyer who has vast experience in dealing with clients from different cultural and ethnic backgrounds. He is an established litigator, negotiator, and counsel. His law firm, that is TAN Law Solicitors specialize in different areas of law, including immigration, family, employment, wills, corporate, and they're also commissioners of oath. Mr. Andrew has done various voluntary work, including working as a magistrate and school governor. Mr. Andrew is a distinguished public speaker who has addressed various political, religious, and social and charitable organizations on leading issues of law. Mr. Andrew is a committee member of the Zimbabwe Lawyers International, secretary of the Zimbabwe United Kingdom Business Chamber, and deacon of the Apostolic Faith Mission Church. Great people, help me to welcome Mr. Andrew Yamayaro. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much for the introduction, and I really appreciate it. And I also appreciate being invited again for the second time to present in this wonderful meeting. And I would also want to appreciate our leaders who have organized this event. Thank you so much for that. It takes a lot of your time, and mainly it also takes a lot of your resources to be able to do this. I also want to acknowledge my predecessors who have done their presentations, which I've been listening to, and I've learned quite a lot from those presentations. I'm not seeing the time minding one. Can you, if it can be somewhere so that yes, thank you so much, so that I'll be able to know my time frames. Okay. So immigration is one of the areas that we do amongst the other areas of law that we practice. And most of you would realize and recognize that immigration is quite a topic that is always debated in the news. It's always political. Every political party that needs to come to power or to remain in power will have to say something on immigration. Just yesterday, there was news when Rishi Sunak was being questioned while it is at the G7 summit, wherever they are at the moment. There was news that net migration has increased for this year. It has increased more than last year and previous years. And where the net migration increases, then we will realize that any party that is in power would want to at least do something to satisfy the electorate that they're acting on reducing the net migration. So at the moment, I'm off my head, I believe that they're saying that net migration is nearly 500,000 people. That net migration is the difference between the people that have entered the country and the people that have left the country. So there's been at least 500,000 people that have remained in the country once we have considered those figures. So of late, there has been some immigration controls that have been put in place or that have been discussed by the government and the parliament. The most controversial one at the moment being the illegal immigration bill. The illegal immigration bill has been implemented or is being debated by the parliament because the government seeks to control people that enter into the United Kingdom illegally. So I know that some people, we know that some people have entered the United Kingdom illegally. So that bill, the long title says it's a bill that is there to really control people that have entered. For example, people who have entered through the boats. We know that people cross the channel into the United Kingdom. They come here illegally using fake documents, and it's there again to make sure that there is control on victims of slavery, human trafficking, and a lot of things. We hear that people would be sent to Rwanda, and there was an attempt to send people to Rwanda, but that was thwarted after there was an appeal to the European Court of Human Rights. So the bill of illegal immigration is one that is topical at the moment. It was in the House of Lords last week, but one, and it was being discussed in the House of the Lords, and it might go back to the lower chamber for clarification and maybe to be edited again, but it's something that the government is keen to implement. The other thing that has been discussed of late is the plan to limit the student dependence. We all know that when someone comes to the United Kingdom, they can be able to bring their dependents if their course is for 12 months and above. So we also know that most master's degrees are at least 12 months if you are full-time, maybe a bit more. So people that are coming for 12 months also can bring their dependents. So the government is now discussing or trying to implement how to limit the dependence of people that are going to come to study in the United Kingdom. So if you're on a short-term study visa, if this is implemented, it might mean that you might not be able to then be able to bring your dependents, which include your spouse, your children, or any other person that is dependent on you. Right. I would also want to touch on the postgraduate visa, which is a route that has been used by a lot of people who have come to the United Kingdom. So this is a very good route for most people, because if you come to study, say, for the master's degree, and you qualify, you pass, you get your certificate from your university, then all you need to produce really is your graduation certificate, and to make sure that you are still within your valid visa, and you'll be able to apply for a postgraduate visa. This visa allows someone to stay in the United Kingdom for 2 years after successfully completing their course. And in those 2 years, the aim of the visa is to give you a chance to get practical experience of whatever course that you were doing. So it is quite important that if someone gets this visa, they have to do something that is relevant to their training. We know in practical terms that some people get this visa, and then because they want to survive, they will go into other types of work, such as warehouse operatives and so forth. But ideally, you should be doing something that is connected to your training and your academic qualifications. And if someone is on this visa as well, their dependents are also allowed to stay in the United Kingdom for the 2 years. And the dependents can access the NHS, the GP services, they can be able to work or establish a business, or do whatever that can be done by people that are in the United Kingdom. So if someone is a student at the moment and they are wondering what to do next, I would suggest that they can consider to do this postgraduate visa. Right. One of the things I'm sure that everyone on the platform is aware of is about the sponsor licenses and the COS. I always joke with my staff that I think one of the words that is very popular on Google is COS. I think that if Google was to do a survey on that, I think that is the word that will come up as one of the words that is mainly searched. So in our firm, we have helped a lot of companies. We have helped more than 55 companies to apply for sponsor licenses. And a sponsor license allows an organization, which might be a private limited company or a public liability company, or it can be a university, college, etc., to be able to apply for permission from the Home Office to bring employees from abroad. Now, there is a lot of things that is involved when someone is applying for a sponsor license. At the moment, the most organizations that are applying for sponsor licenses are in the healthcare sector, people that have got domiciliary care companies, supported living companies, people that do specialist healthcare, which they give to their service users. And it's not only limited to healthcare, it's quite a lot. If you go on the SOC codes, the SOC codes that are available online, you see that there's a lot of jobs that are on the skilled worker list, and there's also the shortage worker list. So our clientele include people that even in the hospitality industry. We have got take-away shops that are recruiting people from outside the country, people that have got laboratories, for example, accountants, IT engineers, and so forth. All those people are capable of being recruited on the sponsor license. And there is quite a number of documents that might be needed for the sponsor license. But if anyone is interested in this, I think you can be able to contact us off of this platform, because as you would realize, my consultation only would to know about your company, to give relevant advice, will take nearly an hour to an hour and a half, so that we understand about your business. So a sponsor license, if you are in business, is something that you can consider if you are struggling to recruit people from within the UK and or from Ireland. And you can be able to recruit from abroad. You just need to produce every information to show that you are a credible company or a business that is trading. If you're required to register with any registration or regulatory bodies, you are regulated by them, and you have got a bank account. You are submitting your accounts online to the company's house, the HMRC information, and you've got some people who are the key officers who have got indefinite leave to remain, or who are British, who can become the key contact people at the level 1 or the level 2 if you need them to be. So sponsor licenses are there for people to take advantage of. And I will use the word take advantage because, as we know, these things that they're not there to stay forever. If you're in this business, take advantage of the sponsor licenses, recruit as much as you can, because at some point it might be a tap that is open that might be closed again. So, as I've mentioned, it's not only the care visa that is under the sponsor license. There's different things that are under the sponsor license, different businesses and industries that recruit from abroad. I've got one client that own a caravan park that we did a sponsor license for them to be able to recruit groundsmen, and they've got groundsmen that are coming from Europe and Africa and so forth. And just as a disclaimer, please, for GDPR purposes, I will not disclose the clients, and don't try to contact me to request for COS. I have deliberately avoided being involved in COS for employees for good reason, as I'll mention in this conversation. So the care visa is really one of the easiest visas for people to come to the United Kingdom. It says that you don't need to have a qualification, and it's true, you don't need to have a qualification, although we have seen that the Home Office has got a tendency of asking employers or employees if they've got any experience or any relevant training for the care visa. So if you are going to recruit anyone from abroad, I always advise people that make sure you recruit someone who has at least done some kind of care work or has got some kind of knowledge of the care work. So they might have, if they've not worked in this industry, then they've maybe done voluntary work, or they've cared for a family member or a relative, or they've done some online courses as well to be able to come. The carers are required to have an English at B1, and they should pass all the 4 heads. It has got 4 heads, spoken, written, and the rest, the other 2 heads. If you fail one of the heads, then you have to retake everything. So these are the requirements for the care visa. If someone is coming from a country that is a TB country, then they need to be tested for TB. It is important for an employer and employee to follow the due process of recruitment. And I really want to emphasize this because sometimes people then tend to come without having signed a contract, or some employers will make someone sign a contract while they're in their home country, and then will change the contract when they arrive in this country, when then someone has got 2 contracts and so forth. The home office fees at the moment are at the reduced rate, and this visa is exempt from the IHS. I think last 3 weeks or so, the UN, or the World Health Organization, has stated that COVID is no longer a pandemic. I think our doctor can confirm that, or it's no longer considered as a pandemic. So in light of that, I would think the Home Office might again change the Home Office fees to bring them to normal fees if there's no longer any pandemic because of COVID, because they were reduced because of the pandemic. So issues emanating from the care visa. Unfortunately, while it is a very good thing in my view that the care visa is there, and I would want to testify that it has helped a lot of people, particularly from Africa and Asia, to be able to migrate to the United Kingdom under circumstances that they would not have been to. A lot of people have come over under this visa because it doesn't have a lot of requirements. Even if the employee or the applicant does not have money, if the employer is an A-rated sponsor, then they can be able to certify the income of the employee. They don't need to show the 1,100 for coming in. But while it's very good, as I am saying, it has had its own challenges. Firstly, there's been some rogue employers that have been charging fees that they're not supposed to charge to employees, things like the skilled worker surcharge. The employer is not supposed to charge that. The course application fee, the employer is not supposed to charge. But some employers do charge those fees, and the rest of the fees, you are entitled to recover them from the employee, or the employee is duty bound to pay them, unless if the employer has got the resources to be able to cover. So things like the home office fee for the visa application, flights, accommodation, training for the English test, the TB test. If you want to cover them, you can cover them. But if you don't want to cover them, you do not cover them as an employer. So there's also been some people, I hear people being asked to pay as much as 15,000, 10,000, 5,000 and so forth. And again, it's debatable if someone is able to pay 15,000 for a COS. Do they really need to come to the UK, or they can use the 15,000 to invest in themselves back home? But that's debatable. Bad treatment from employers. Some employers, I was reading an article today of a nursing home where employees have been treated badly. It's almost like modern slavery or trafficking that is happening. Someone will get the shock of their life when they come to the United Kingdom and they are living in a cubicle when they were promised that they'll be living in a house by the employer. Employers are breaching their duties, and some are selling. So I wanted to say selling of COS. One challenge that is faced by people that relocate to the United Kingdom is that they might have children that are over the age of 18, but they're still dependent on the parents because they are still in university or they are not employed. And most of these applications have been refused because they don't meet the legal requirement of exceptional and compassionate circumstances. So where someone has got an adult child, you know, back home, a child is always a child. Even if you're 40, your mom will always say, I'm a child. Your mom will always call you a child. But, you know, in this country, if you're over 18, you are treated differently. So again, people back home coming from back home might need to understand the British principles and etiquette and how things operate here. So children over 18, that has been an issue that has been ongoing. And I always suggest that if that child is capable, then they should just get their own COS rather than rely on the parent, unless if they've got, say, mental health or medical problems or any other social issues that are important. Another issue that has been discussed is the red list. So the red list comes from the WHO, where and it has been incorporated into a guidance by the United Kingdom or the England and Wales, and I think Scotland as well. If incorporated the red list in that, the WHO tries to protect developing countries from developed countries, because developed countries en masse goes to recruit staff from Africa or Asia. But to avoid this, there's a red list where they are not allowed to go and recruit en masse of the employees, the doctors, the nurses, the carers, and so forth. So they are not allowed to market in those areas. They are not allowed to send recruiting agencies or scouts to those countries. But however, a person in that country, once they see your advert, they are allowed to apply for the job. So it doesn't necessarily mean that if a country is on a red list, the citizens of those countries cannot come to the United Kingdom. They can come if they've seen your advert. So you continue to advertise as an employer, and then the people that notices your adverts, and you keep all the records as necessary. So these are some of the things that have been challenges that have been caused by the care visa. Okay. Again, you need to notice that recently there's been changes that have been made to the long residence visa. So the long residence visa is normally where someone has been in the United Kingdom, say, for 10 years continuously, and they want to claim settlement or indefinite leave to remain, or where someone has been in the United Kingdom for 20 years, mixed of legal stay and illegal stay, but this one is specific for the 10-year route. How the period is calculated and who qualifies, I'm sure you're able to skim through as I'm talking about what is required. So it's the problem that was always happening was how to calculate these periods. What is the period that has been in the United Kingdom? What period is excluded, and so forth. So the long residence changes, and there's a link on there. You can just look for the long residence and see if your period that you've spent in the United Kingdom meets the requirements, or you are still outside of the requirements. Okay. Another area that has caused a lot of controversy and pain to people is the EU SS. As you would know, just a few years ago, the United Kingdom left the EU and we became an independent country. Well, we were independent, but we were part of the pact, but now we are no longer part of them. And because of Brexit, and after Brexit was done, there was a grace period of up to June 2020 where people could make applications under the EU SS scheme. Some people have been able to make applications under the EU SS scheme if you are an EU citizen or a member of an EU citizen family. So some people missed the deadline. Some people were previously on the normal immigration rules visa, such as the human rights family visa or the private life visa and so forth. But they wanted to switch to the EU SS because they've got a child who's got a British passport or who's got an EU citizenship, but they were not allowed to do that by the Home Office because of what the Home Office was believing at the time. But the court has clarified that, as we know, the Home Office, even when the court clarifies something, they do not really listen to the courts unless if they just decide to be able to implement whatever they want to do. So if you are caught in a situation where you are an EU citizen or you're an EU citizen family member and there's problems with you, you need to revisit it. There's been a new guidance or guidances that have been put in place. And if you delayed, you need to show the reasons why you delayed. If the party is outside the United Kingdom, you might be able to use the routes such as the Surinder Singh route and so forth. So this is something that has caused a lot of problems for people. I know a lot of my clients from countries such as Ghana, for example, who also have got links with EU, who have been affected by this implementation of the EU SS scheme. I do not see again the time. I'm not sure if I'm still within my time, but I'll go through. Practical issues to consider when you are making an application, whether it's an application for any type of visa, make sure you prepare your application properly. And some people rush to make their applications and then they do not answer the questions properly. And if you do that and the Home Office want to be funny with you, they will say you've tried to lie to the Home Office, so they will ban you under deceit and deception. If you're outside the country, then you get a 10-year ban, and you will not be able to get a visa for 10 years. So just make sure that you prepare your applications properly. If you cannot afford the fees, check for legal aid. Legal aid is there for people who've got limited resources, and you might also qualify for a fee waiver, particularly after the COVID. Most people were applying for fee waivers if you cannot afford the Home Office fees. There's a lot of delays that are happening with the Home Office. At the moment, a standard application, actually they put in another policy yesterday when they said that Home Office standard times is now 9 months. It was 8 months as of last month, but now it's 9 months. So if you make an application, it's taking nearly 9 months. The good thing is that they've introduced the super priority route. You can pay an additional £800 and you'll be able to jump the queue under the super priority route. But it's also available in the United Kingdom and outside the United Kingdom on specific routes that are available. Another thing that is important is check the regulatory status of your lawyers. There's a lot of bogus lawyers out there, as much as there is a lot of people who just go out and just be told, oh, I'm a lawyer. Being a lawyer outside of the United Kingdom might not necessarily mean that you are a lawyer in the United Kingdom. And some of the areas of law are reserved for people that are regulated in the UK. So they might be regulated by the bar, the bar society or the law society or the SRA, the SILEX, different areas, but just check their regulation. This is very important for people that have been scammed online. Do not start and finish a transaction on social media. It boggles my mind that someone gets to be told that I've got a COS license, I've got a COS, and on social media, they pay 3,000, 5,000, and everything is done on social media, on WhatsApp, for example. And then at the end of the day, they've been scammed of their money and so forth. So just check, do your own due diligence, check with the company's house, check with the CQC, check with the register for sponsored licenses and so forth, so that you are not tricked by scammers that are there online. And some of them, unfortunately, even some of these scammers, they are so clever that they are now pretending to be employers. They can, because they've been able to see what a COS looks like, and they've got access to your logo on your website. So they can pretend to be company A when they're not company A, because there's a lot of software online that can be used to mimic your information, and some people might be duped that way. So again, everyone must exercise due diligence, whether you are the employer or the employee. If you're an employer, just try to always check, Google, check yourself if anything is happening or whatever happening on social media. As an advice, always keep yourself up to date. Subscribe for emails from the GOV. I find the emails from the gov.uk very useful, not only for the area of work that I do, which is law, but I subscribe to everything from the DVLA to the Foreign Office to anything, because they've got almost everything to do with every aspect of your life. And you just need to get those updates from them so that you know what is happening, as things are always changing. As a firm, we have got a Telegram group where we give tips to tier 2 dependents and their families on everything, things like how to get a school for your children, how to get a GP, how to book a holiday, etc. General things. We do give tips, insurance and so forth. We answer questions on immigration and so forth on that website. These are our contact details if you want to contact us. Immigration is quite a wide area. It cannot be covered in 30 minutes. There's a lot of routes or areas that you can apply for your visas, such as family visas, spouse visas, children visas, innovative visas, etc., points-based applications. But it's a lot of work to be done. Thank you so much. I don't want to go over time.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Andrew, for such a lengthy but very informative session on immigration laws and visa renewals. Thank you so much. I hope uh, one or two of our listeners and guests are also penning some questions down for you. So get ready.